Come, behold the works of the Lord, what desolations he hath made in the earth. He maketh wars to cease unto the end of the earth. He breaketh the bow, and cutteth the spear in sunder. He burneth the chariot in the fire. Be still, and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the heathen. I will be exalted in the earth.
Never quit, never, ever.
Well, these convoys seem to be going worldwide, causing a stir in the globalist regime. Truckers are in need of prayer, obviously, for standing up for truth. The Arizona Truth Movement and election information is coming forward again. The PEDOs of CNN are being exposed. Jesse Waters shows the Great Awakening from Fox. Trudeau's Real Fathers exposed on Fox. Student power. Students were rising up, and a military fight for freedom is uncovered, and it's amazing. Today's bed sheets are a breeding ground for bacteria and dust mites. They often cause or worsen acne. They're responsible for sweating, stains, and odors. Bed sheets haven't seen innovation in years. So I recommend My Miracle Sheets. MyMiracleSheets.com is in the description box below. They're created the first ever hygienic luxury bed sheets. They utilize microbial silver that can eliminate 99.9% of bacteria growth. So go in that description box below. They'll be yours risk-free for 30 days. Yep, that's that celebration, that sound of freedom right there, folks. And we're loving it. I love seeing the coverage that's coming out in all different angles through social media and more of these guys. And I thought it was interesting because they held a press conference recently, those that put this whole thing together, got folks to stirred up, got them to start fighting for their freedom. And so I'm going to play a few minutes of this, but it's actually about 17 minutes long. It's in the description box below.
Good afternoon. Thank you for coming. My name is Keith Wilson. I'm a lawyer with the Justice Center for Constitutional Freedoms. As some of you may know, there was an announcement earlier today that the Justice Center and a team of lawyers are here on the ground in Ottawa to assist the truckers and the Freedom Convoy 2022 with whatever legal needs they might have. What we're going to do today in this brief press conference is you're going to hear from Tamara Lich, who we all know is the spark that lit this fire and the leader of this organization. You're also going to hear from Joanie Pelletier, who is going to summarize in French what Tamara says. And then Danny Bulford, former RCMP officer, who assists the organizers with security and liaison with the police, will speak and update you on some of those things. At the end, there will only be questions to me, and those questions will be related, if you have any, to the situation with GoFundMe, and I can answer those questions. So with that, I should also note that with Tamara is Chris Barber, one of the key leaders of the Freedom Convoy 2022. So with that, I'd ask Tamara to come forward and make her statement. Thank you.
Thank you. I always have this problem with microphones, sorry. Thank you very much for being here today. We are here out of love for our families, our communities, and our nation. These past 2 years, the COVID mandates have divided us. This protest began because of the federal government's restrictions on trucker freedoms. Our movement has grown in Canada and across the world because common people are tired of the mandates and restrictions in their own lives. Our movement has grown in Canada and across the world because common people are tired of the mandates and restrictions in their lives that now seem to be doing more harm than good. As of today, Sweden, Denmark, UK, Norway, Finland, Ireland, and Switzerland have removed all COVID mandates and restrictions. We are therefore calling on all levels of government in Canada to end all COVID mandates and restrictions. We will continue our protest until we see a clear plan for their elimination. Premier Scott Moe of Saskatchewan has taken leadership in Canada in ending restrictions and mandates in that province. Hopefully, these words will turn into long-lasting action. So far, no one from the federal, provincial, or municipal government has spoken directly with us. Instead, they are using you, the media, to portray us as racists, misogynists, and even terrorists. As a woman with Métis heritage, a mother, and a grandmother, I am offended. The reality is that members of this freedom movement are average, peace-loving, and law-abiding citizens from all walks of life who are fed up with being disrespected and bullied by our government. We continue to see additional Canadians coming to Ottawa every day for peaceful demonstrations. We want to thank the hundreds of residents of Ottawa who have stepped forward to show their support, providing accommodations, food, and just plain friendship to members of our convoy. This love of community is what Canada is all about. Let me assure the people of Ottawa that we have no intent to stay one day longer than necessary. Our departure will be based on the Prime Minister doing what is right, ending all mandates and restrictions on our freedoms. We also want to thank the thousands of people who have so generously donated to this protest to GoFundMe. Over the last 3 days, our accountants and lawyers have been working hard to deal with the legal details. This morning, our lawyers sent GoFundMe all the details that they have asked for. I am confident that GoFundMe now has all the information needed to immediately lift the suspension they put on our campaign. I am hoping to hear from GoFundMe soon so that we can get the money to the truckers and keep our protest for freedom moving forward. I will be providing regular updates. I want to thank all Canadians from the bottom of my heart for our quest to restore our freedoms. Thank you.
You see that she was very firm. I loved how she looked at everyone and said she was very, very upset, basically, and offended that they would even call them racists or folks that were causing pain or hate or anything in that direction. And so as they move forward, this man had something to say about the vandalism that Trudeau said they were creating. And he said they're actually guarding these statues.
Statue, decorating those two locations, and providing security for those two locations. I've even seen people have tents set up right by Terry Fox in order to protect that statue. And I expect that level of commitment to the City of Ottawa and respecting our traditions in this country is just getting started. Thank you for your time.
So as you heard him say, he talked about them defending the statues, taking care of them, and actually decorating them. And so this is playing out with another convoy announced in New Zealand. It's all a go for 6 February was this announcement from Convoy 2022. And they said basically that date set to start from North Island, Cape Reinga to Wellington, leaving at 6:30 a.m., and South Island Bluff to Picton, leaving at 6:30 a.m. in the morning also. There'll be an overnight camp for the North and South Island. Then the convoy will continue for all on Monday, 7 February. So they'll be looking to converge in Wellington by 6 a.m. and on Tuesday, 8th February 2022. So you find listeners out there in New Zealand, looking forward to seeing more out of that area. Now, we talked about this last time about a guy I really can't edit too much because it's just about every other word out of his mouth is a cuss word. But what I'm going to do is show you the body language of this guy who's ticked off because they won't stop honking in Ottawa. And so he looks at the camera. The guy tells him, basically, stop the honking. You can see by his reaction, he's screaming. Look at his eyes. Huge scream. They're losing their minds. He just can't stop losing his mind. And look at that. Then he pulls his mask down so he can give a little bit more attention to his pain and his anger because he just wants them to stop honking. They want to get some sleep. And he's losing his mind. And look at his body language. So you can tell why I can't play the audio. It's just too much to edit. By the time I'm done editing, it's going to be you got to, I can't sleep. And then every other word would be cut out and you guys wouldn't know what he was talking about anyway. Poor guy. He just needs to join in and tell the Prime Minister to, hey, join in and let's get this thing over with. We're tired. So then he had last night in Coutts, farmers came to the aid of truckers and protesters to help block the highway at the U.S.-Canadian border. The energy, the resolve, the hunger for freedom was incredible.
Yes. Just a friendly protest, peaceful. Thank you, farmers. This is in the northbound lane. Love it.
That's pretty amazing. Then you go into Ottawa, you can see the solidarity they have with truckers. That is cool to see. The farmers, look at this, Game Over 2022. Love for the convoy, love for freedom. Man, this is just phenomenal. Can't get enough of it, folks. How about you? It has just been playing through the airways more and more. And so this guy right here, Trudeau Liberal Minister of Transport of Canada, Omar Agbra, who implemented the trucker vaccine mandates that started this whole freedom convoy. Oh, well, he gets confronted. Listen what he says.
Is there any federal role in this?
Is there?
To get this resolved peacefully?
I mean, they made their point. They made their point. The entire country heard their point of view, and I think they should go home and let Ottawa, the residents of Ottawa businesses get back to their jobs.
And you're concerned.
Oh, he sounds tired. They just need to go home. Just let us get back to normal. Do their jobs. How about? They made their point. It's working. And, I think they'll leave once I make sure that we get all of their requests and taken care of. And we'll stop these mandates, and then we'll get this thing underway, and we'll get our life back to normal. Nope. They just need to go home so we can go back to normal, back to punishing everyone and forcing them to do passports and forcing them to put poison into their bodies so that we can see them all eventually just die from the poison that we put in their jabs. Yeah. Not going to work this time, buddy. It is not going to work at all. And so anyway, I'm looking forward to sharing this one with you. Our website's up and running. And it's I've shown it to you before, and I'll show it to you again because the man responsible for creating this and having the patience to wait for me to get it done, because he's actually, every time I upload a video, he uploads the video, he has everything ready to go. He just waits on me patiently to finally have time to spend with him to get it up and running. And so here it is. There's the front, and it's really cool because it's got the thumbnail for each one of the episodes that transitions over. And if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see Join And We Know's newsletter. You put your name and your email, hit Join Us, and you'll start receiving an email when we have information or notices to put out. And you'll also have the shop popular AUK products there, and the Patriot Pins. Now, if you go to these Patriot Pins, it's pretty cool because the man, Barry, who created this website, worked so hard to make sure that it looks like this, is the one that actually tries to make a living with these pins. He puts them together, he gets them out to you guys, and everybody loves them. And when you click on Patriot Pin on that little link up there, you'll see all these different ones that they have available. And I just think these pins are just really, really cool. I love them, and I'll be showing you a video of those in a future date for you to see. And also, another thing that's cool is Angie and Jamie said, hey, if you make any purchase, you get a free sticker. Keep on trucking for freedom. See those stickers? Pretty cool. And so they have put this together, and they also said 10% of all the sales are going to go to the truckers who are fighting for freedom. How about that? This weekend only. Promotion ends on the 6th of February. These guys are just phenomenal. You guys, just amazing how God puts us all together. And we'll keep praying for everyone. For now, this is more of our great Patriots for And We Know. We're also at andweknow.tv. That's right. You can go there, and you'll see Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV there for you. And you just hit that bad boy. It'll get you an app on your phone also. Pretty phenomenal, right? I mean, that is just really cool. So if you guys didn't know, the truckers, Canada truckers, they're meeting to discuss lifting all mandates in rural Alberta. Truckers have agreed to open one lane of their blockade at the border. They are willing to shut it back down if things don't go their way.
And they are supporting us 100% with what we're doing, but they cannot continue to support us if we don't open up one lane of traffic across that border. They said if we open that lane of traffic, they will drop the rural mandates and what's that other one called? The RE?
REP program.
The REP program.
What is that?
That means
the tier system.
The tier system.
Social differences from obedient people to
tax passports. That's correct.
Alex, hold on. RCMP.
Yeah.
Coming through. Hi.
And they do not meet our requests, that border is shut again immediately.
Amen.
But we're going to move first.
Show
Show
of hands.
Does that mean we open now?
We open now just for
One
one
lane.
lane to show faith that we are opening it. They meet at 2 o'clock. If they meet our request and drop their mandates, it's open.
And if they don't,
we shut it down again.
Commerce can go back.
So anyway, they continue to make those announcements. They talk to these police. They give them the same information you just heard. Of course, these police officers now have to take that information and go back to whoever they need to talk to and make sure that they know how this thing is playing out. So one lane open because they're meeting certain mandates. Once they, if they meet what we're requesting, we'll stop it all. If not, we're shutting back down again. So it's almost like, what they do with all of us, right? With their mind control games, right? They open it up just a little bit for us and say, oh, the mandates are gone for a while. Then they bring it back and say, nope, mask back on because the Omicron showed up, which there's no such thing. And then they say, oh, well, okay, we're going to relieve things for a little while, and then everybody gets happy, and then they bring the mandates back down again. So now it's back on them. You guys, we'll give you a little bit of wiggle room. But you mess up, we're going to shut you back down because we're the ones that are in control, the people. And so there was rumors going around that the military would be used to end the trucker protests, but according to Trudeau in a video, he said it's not in the cards. But of course, they say that about, it's just going to last 2 weeks to flatten the curve. No, we're not going to mandate the vaccine. Oh, no, we're not going to have boosters. No, we're not going to have passports. They always lie and lie and lie some more. And so, talking about passports and tracking, you check this out.
Still, 33 million. 33 million. That's the number of Canadians who had their mobility data secretly tracked by the Public Health Agency of Canada without their consent. This unprecedented level of surveillance on our citizens came to light when the Liberals not only admitted that they did it, but planned on continued spying on Canadians for another 5 years. Protecting the privacy of Canadians is the foundation of our freedoms, and sadly, under these Liberals, the foundations of our democracy are crumbling when this type of massive overreach happens. My question is a simple one. Who authorized the secret spying on Canadians? The Honourable Minister.
Interesting, right, as he brings that up, and who authorized this whole thing. And I was watching another video where this trucker was talking about how he pulled up to the border and he went to pull out his QR code from his phone to get it scanned to show that that he's meeting the requirements to cross the border. And he said that the guy that checks him said, I don't need to see that. And he goes, what do you mean? I've got all my paperwork ready on this QR code. No, I already knew. As you were driving in, your phone pinged to my computer system and showed that you were already compliant. So I don't need to see that. And so he was basically, the trucker was saying, look, they're tracking us. They know exactly who we are. They know where we're at, how we're traveling, what kind of papers we have, what kind of medical things we've done to our body before we even have to show it. So let's continue.
Minister of Health.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Je suis tout à fait d'accord avec mon collègue. Il fait...
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I agree with my colleague. We need to protect people's privacy. And I believe my colleague also believes that we need to protect people's health and safety. And we are doing that together. We are working with the Privacy Commissioner to ensure that the methods used are appropriate when it comes to ensuring that the data used is anonymized and is being used to protect people's health and safety as well as their privacy.
Barry Innisfil. Instead of being focused on normalizing lockdowns, maybe the Liberals should have been focused on keeping our economy open. When you start connecting the dots, you see a pattern of massive overreach by these Liberals. They tried to seize control of Parliament at the beginning of the pandemic to completely control spending and taxing. They got caught secretly collecting banking data and attempted to limit speech and what Canadians can see on the internet. And now this. This pattern of control is only seen in countries that many Canadians have fled from. How could anyone think that secretly gathering this data without the consent of Canadians was a good idea?
The Honourable Minister of Health.
So that's interesting, right? Because he talks about how people have fled other countries to come to Canada to get away from this type of behavior. It just so happened I was scrolling on the right over here and I didn't prepare it for these slides. But I'm going to go ahead and have it, I believe if I push play, you'll be able to see that the truckers are going to be in good hands, and they're being supported by those that have faced oppression.
Liv Thompson Television, the best woman from Vancouver.
Thank you. Show me what's happening.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is from Polish, from Polish store.
Yes.
From Toronto.
Oh, look what they're bringing in. They're eating better than us. Wow, I wish I was a trucker, man. Bread, food, that looks like a barbecue right there. Looks like they're going to be eating really well for a really, really long time. And we bless them, that is for sure. Look at this, look at all of the provisions. Oh my goodness, and guess what? Everybody is going to want to keep sharing for months and months and years. Oh yeah, my assistant Liz is really eyeing up those donuts. And she's like, hi, how are you?
Who are you?
Yes, I'm Laura Lynn Tyler Thompson, and we're just presenting what's going on behind the scenes. Who are you?
I'm Bernadette, and we came here with Anna from Toronto. We brought 1,550 Polish sausages for our truckers. We brought some bread and buns and Polish donuts, and you know what? We know that they drive, so we didn't bring alcohol. But should they request some Polish vodka, we're very happy to bring that too.
Okay, that is wonderful. Why did you do this?
Because we stand behind them. We come from communist country, and we came here because we didn't want to have oppression. We wanted to live in a free country, and for the last 2 years, we're living like prisoners. We are being told to stay at home. We're told not to go to the restaurant, not to go to the church. I mean, this is unbelievable. During communism times, we were able and free to go to the church. And there were times over here where we couldn't. So I really can't take it anymore. So I'm going to be coming here with the food weekly, bi-weekly, every 2 or 3 days until it ends.
So this is it, everyone. All of these desperate housewives linking arms
Not
with
housewives, businesswomen.
All right, businesswomen. I love it. With the truckers. And so this is what's happening on the front lines, guys. All is well.
That is so cute. We're not housewives, we're businesswomen. So good. And you can see them smiling. They're excited. They're doing something that they're proud of to feed all of the truckers. And they are just enjoying fighting for freedom. And guys, we all have a role in, right? We can pray from a distance. You've heard all the things that they're going through and how you can support them. And one of the things that I found very, very interesting, if you notice from these guys, when I played this earlier, when he made that announcement and told them we're going to close it back up if they don't do what we're told, what did you hear the people say? They said, Amen. Amen. It's almost like their own gathering of believers together, right? Where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I will be in the midst of them. Did it say 2 or 3 gathered in a building with a church steeple and a cross at the very top and church pews and 20 minutes of worship music and then somebody gets up and talks for 30 minutes to an hour? No. It's 2 or 3 gathered in my name. And you can imagine back in the day when you had to put the sign of the fish on the ground, and when you saw that sign of the fish, you knew that that house you could enter, and there would be believers in there, right? In the history of the beginning of the church, or those that are believers in Christ, Christ followers, right? And so you look at this whole thing playing out, and I did that interview in the last video, and he was excited, and I don't know if you remember him saying it or not, but basically he was stating that in Canada, they don't really share their faith openly that much. They don't do a lot of open praying and what have you. He says that he has noticed that high percentage, I think he said 70, 80%, Paul said that what he's noticed is Bible verses everywhere, people getting together, gathering together, smiling, praying together. And so folks, even through these hardships, right, when you pray for revival, you pray for things to happen on the earth, right? What an amazing time to gather with people who are all hurting, all desperate for freedom, and a time to just lift people up and pray. Hey, can I pray for you? How many people will turn that away? We know that they're trying to divide us by the truth of who's getting jabbed, who's not, who wears a mask, who's not, and they get us to fight amongst one another about that whole thing. But the bottom line is we're all basically stuck together, whether wearing one or not, jab or not. They're taking our freedoms away. These globalists want to control us all. Yeah. And so it just stays with us day in and day out. It's like all we think about all the time is the mind-boggling things of how this affects us. Right? And so here we are. We're seeing this thing play out in front of us every single day, and we're wondering, will it ever end? Will it ever end? And so we do want to see an ending to this. You know, part of this, that on the positive side, you see these leaders standing up, and you say, well, what kind of future are we going to have for our kids? Well, this, I thought, was amazing. 100+ students of Washagai High School. I hope I said that right. Washougal. Let me see. Washougal. So I'm just going to say Washougal High School near Vancouver, Washington, staged a walkout today over mask mandates. And watch what this young leader says to all of the fellow students.
Hey! Everybody shut up! Pay attention. This is not an excuse for any of you freshmen and sophomores to disrespect your teachers. If I hear of anybody disrespecting teachers or staff tomorrow, that makes us look bad. We want this to be a peaceful, respectful movement. We are just trying to gain back our rights as citizens. We do not care about the teachers. In the end are just doing their jobs. It doesn't come from them. It comes from the state. Now, what we're hoping is that they kick us out. This sounds bad, but we're hoping that they kick us out because they have to report that attendance to the state. And if the state sees a day where 100 or I don't even know how many kids are here are absent, they're going to start asking questions. Our hope is we can get this statewide. Now, I might get in trouble for this, but the plan still stands for Wednesday. For tomorrow, I mean. Everybody is going to meet at the back row of the senior parking lot, and we're all walking into the school with no mask on. You can get me in trouble. They can suspend me. I don't care. We're done with this. And obviously all of you are too.
Shut up. Shut up.
Obviously all you are done with the mask too. Now again, we're doing this peacefully and respectfully. If a staff member asks you to put a mask on, you say no thank you and keep walking. And if they kick you out, then go home. And if people need rides home, then some of the seniors, I'm sure we can start giving people rides home. That's about it.
Now that's what you call leadership. Wow. Is that inspiring or what? We're going to show you their footage going into school in a moment. First of all, newly discovered software flaw is possibly the most critical vulnerability of the last decade for anyone with an internet-connected device. The software vulnerability grants hackers, spies, and criminals easy access to customer data off of countless enterprise-level websites. Your privacy is in your hands. Use Virtual Shield. That's how you connect to the internet with that. It protects your online data from hackers, data mining companies, and more. So go to virtualshield.com /and we know in the description box below. You'll get 50% off for life, and that will be really cool. And so here we have the video of them walking into the school without wearing masks. Let's see how this played out on the right.
Take the mask. If you don't take the mask, you gotta head back out. Put it on. Whoa. If you're choosing not to.
Everyone taking your attendance.
We're going home.
All right, thank you.
And so they turn around and they go home. And I think this would be the footage of them going home. I could be wrong, but I think this is them going home. So it looks like they're pretty excited, probably because they just accomplished their mission. Mission accomplished. They had great leadership, and they did it respectfully. And folks, I mean, that's our future right there. That's wonderful. They also had an unmasked Oakdale students want to learn in class, but they're segregated in the gym. You see that picture right there. It was actually a video clip. So yesterday, the elementary students unmasked were held in office and not allowed to call parents. Today, over 500 students at every campus in the district unmasked in solidarity. That is awesome. We're watching the young folks stand up for their freedom in this ugly, ugly world that we're being exposed to every single day. And they're learning. They're learning how to stand up for their rights and their freedoms. And they're learning how to do it respectfully, and they're learning who their leaders are. At such a young age, that is absolutely amazing. That warms my heart. And so as we continue forward, you'll notice that Biden's mounting crisis continues to play out. If this is all a show and it's designed to wake up those folks who think that the rhinos or those that are against our freedoms and everything are right, and that Democrats should always win, or rhinos should always be put in, well, they're starting to hopefully wake up now, because there's a cargo backlog, there's inflation, skyrocketing gas prices, empty shelves, border crisis. They had messed up the Afghanistan withdrawal, and you had the COVID pandemic. And then somebody put this out. Here's One American News just reported. This seized SCYTL data shows landslide win for President Trump. We've shown it before. We'll show it again. There was an overall win, 410 to 128 Biden, something they never want us to see and never talk about again. However, when it's brought up here with our future Arizona governor, you'll find out that she's going to fight for this.
Do you think Joe Biden is the current president?
Well, he's obviously sitting in the White House. Do you think he's the president?
I'm asking you, but I'm just wondering, do you think that if the 2020 election was stolen, is Joe Biden the president?
Do you think the election was stolen?
I have no comment.
Do you think that Joe Biden garnered 81 million votes? Do you think the elections were fair? The problem is that the American people don't have all the answers because the media is part of the problem. The media is not reporting it. The media has never reported our forensic audit fairly. They're not reporting what's happening in Georgia. They're not reporting on these ballot traffickers that are being paid to drop off ballots. Media is doing a huge disservice to this country. And the people aren't getting the full story. But eventually I do think they will. And the media, whose numbers are dropping like a rock, are going to continue to drop. And pretty soon nobody will be watching. Because the media has turned their back on the people of America and not been honest. ABC News, CNN, MSNBC spent more than 3 years lying to the American people, saying that Russia colluded with Donald J. Trump to steal an election in 2016. And they knew that was false. They knew they were peddling lies, and they did nothing to stop it. It was a complete hoax, and it was a lie. And now they're doing the opposite. We have evidence of corruption in our election, and they refuse to cover it. They refuse to be honest with the people of this country. It is disgusting what the media has done. And I think their days are numbered when it comes to surviving all of this. The business, when you're lying to the people and you're in media, it's a bad business model.
Yep, their days are numbered literally. Because we've already seen, if you haven't heard, Jeff Zucker, a world-class sleazebag from President Trump's message, who has headed ratings and real news challenged CNN for far too long, has been terminated for numerous reasons. Numerous reasons. Folks, I don't know if you know, but it's not just numerous reasons. What they're telling us, they're saying it's one reason that he happened to have, basically an inappropriate relationship with one of those who worked there. President Trump knows. Numerous reasons, but predominantly because CNN has lost its way with the viewers and everybody else. Now's a chance to put fake news in the back seat, because there may not be anything more important than straightening out the horrendous lamestream media in our country. In the case of CNN throughout the world, Jeff Zucker is gone. Congratulations to all. That's right. You guys know Truth Social is about to go live, and when that bad boy takes off and the truth starts coming out in droves and these other social media platforms start collapsing like crazy, we're going to see all kinds of craziness go down. I think they're going to shut down the internet. I think they're going to shut down anything that they can to keep the real truth from coming out, which is a lot of it having to do with all of these people in their relationship with Epstein, that island, the trafficking of children, and all of the Hollywood stars, the singers, the politicians, and more who we've looked up to our entire lives, exposed. Why do you think they try so hard to start a war somewhere? Why do you think they try so hard to ruin our lives and take us out? Because most of them worship Satan. Most of them belong to the devil himself. Most of them do not want us to know that. And most of them could really give a rip about us. And they figure if they wipe us out, they can have this earth to themselves, and they can beat God. It's not working. Save America put out February 2nd also. I have a question. If this was the pilot, would you get on the airplane? There's old Biden. President Trump's team said, I wouldn't. That's right. Well, hearing some incredible inside info about what is really happening at CNN, the Communist News Network, right now. The whole disease temple is coming down. That's from Benny Johnson. Zucker is one of a long series of dominoes. It's about to get much worse. So what we've learned in the past 6 months, the president of CNN cheats on his wife with subordinates, covers it up, employed multiple pedophiles. That's all falling apart for them. Top anchor intimidated, covered up sexual abuse victims, and CNN still employs serial public guy who basically got on a Zoom call and did something inappropriate. If you can read that, you can. I'm sorry about that, but hopefully it's just a real quick glance over for you. For the kids, they don't need to see that. All right, so Dan Scavino Jr. puts out, watch now, Donald Trump, Red Zone podcast with Senator Rick Scott. Right, joined the Red Zone. It was posted at 1:57 p.m. Well, it's funny because if you look at the Intel board, 13:57 military time, 1:57, there won't be arrest until the justice system is cleaned out. That has to include the state judges. What do we hear from the Intel board? 11/11 provided as strategic marker, post midterms. Red wave coming. Red zone. Strength, justice. Boom. 11/11 provided as a strategic marker. What must happen pre-11/11, huh? All this stuff has to play out. Then post-midterms, the red wave's coming. A lot of folks, we always look at dates. We always think, maybe this, maybe that. Some folks hold hard on those dates. Try not to do that anymore. We just speculate and we try to figure out how this is all working. And so part of this whole scenario that's playing out, what's been very interesting for me to see, is everyone watching Jesse Waters lately. We've talked about his show, and there you can see choice set of words there, America's Great Awakening. He continues to put out information that just baffles the mind of many people. Before I share that, Real Kim Shady, has everyone wrapped their heads around the depth of the evil and corruption that will be revealed in the following industry sectors when the truth starts coming out even more? And we've already seen a lot of this, that many folks were just, what did I talk about earlier? We were going to the theaters on the weekend. We were talking about whatever football game, baseball game we were going to watch that week, NBA, whatever. Yeah, we're driving around, hanging out with friends, going out to eat all the time, heading to Bible studies 5 days a week, and enjoying a cup of coffee while we're hugging our people inside of a building, but really not reaching out to the community, just kind of closed in for ourselves and ignoring everything. Not wanting to admit it, but basically things that, we just weren't paying attention. In the meantime, they were those on the outside of our networks of going to the movies and hanging out in the buildings and the churches and all that. They're on the outside getting into the government, the medical systems, the abortion industry, social media, food, and all that, TV, Hollywood. They're doing everything they can to infiltrate all of us through these different ways. We're going to find out the government on federal, state, and local levels were corrupted. Medical, corrupted. Big pharma, deep as an ocean, corrupted. Abortion and sub-industries, sickos, right? We've already seen the Project Veritas video showing that they were basically selling the parts of baby parts from that. law enforcement, police, judges, lawyers, social media, big tech, exposed, mainstream media. Whew, they're the worst. Food, what they're putting in it. TV, Hollywood, etc. They're sold out. Most of them have to make deals with the devil to get their roles. Yeah, shipping. Think about it. Banking, lending credit, etc. Power, oil, natural gas, and electric. Street drugs, where are they coming from? Fentanyl, we see you, Pfizer. Human trafficking. Church religion. Charities, getting exposed. Red Cross, we caught them already. Schools, teachers, admin, boards, vendors. I mean, we used to just drop our kids off and say, here you go. Take care of them. Teach them all you want. Woohoo. I'm heading off to work. Well, we're starting to wake up to what they're up to. Organized crime. Military, who would have ever thought? And many, many others. Now think globally. It's going to be absolutely biblical. It's so much more than a 4-year election. Much more. So anytime you say, what's taken so long, refer to the above. Sometimes it's as simple as follow the money. Money, power, control, sickness. Way to go, Real Kim Shady, with your great point of views on all of this. So let's look at a small part of Jesse Waters.
Here in America have felt a lot like that movie. We're stuck dealing with the same lying media, the same dumb COVID rules, and the same crime wave. It's felt like nothing's changing. Until now. We're starting to notice a shift in the energy. I feel it, and I'm sure you do too. The American people are refusing to live the same endless loop of crime, COVID, and counterfeit news. So let's start there. The entire legacy media is imploding. And I'm not even talking about their ratings, which have been embarrassingly low.
That can't be good.
Instead, the entire country is all finally seeing how foolish, dangerous, and corrupt the media is. Personally, I was sickened when ABC spiked an expose that would bring down Clinton and Epstein because network brass didn't want to jeopardize their access to the royal family.
I've had this interview with Virginia Roberts. We would not put it on the air. First of all, I was told, who's Jeffrey Epstein? No one knows who that is. This is a stupid story. Then the palace found out that we had her whole allegations about Prince Andrew and threatened us a million different ways. It was unbelievable what we had. Clinton, we had everything. I tried for 3 years to get it on, to no avail, and now it's all coming out, and it's like these new revelations, and I freaking had all of it. I'm so pissed right now. So do I think he was killed? 100%. Yes, I do. Because he made his whole living blackmailing people.
ABC had the goods on a serial pedophile, but did nothing. How many more young girls were hurt because ABC wanted to interview Prince Harry? And it turns out it was all for nothing, as Oprah and CBS stole their royal interview.
So your story with the prince does have a happy ending?
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah. It really did.
It has a happy ending because you made it so.
Yeah, greater than any fairy tale you've ever read. Yeah.
Greater than any fairy tale.
So let's pause there for a second. You notice how he went from Epstein straight to Oprah? See that? Epstein to Oprah. The person that we used to, as a young couple, when I first joined the Marine Corps, they'd get back from work and sit down, turn on television, I'd watch those talk shows. I used to actually sit down and watch some of the things that interested me. And now we're starting to see connections. Are you seeing this? Interesting choice to have them play back to back. And then he throws the next one in there.
In charge of CNN quit after he was found to be sleeping with CNN's head of media relations. Likely this is Chris Cuomo getting revenge on Jeff for canceling him in disgrace and not paying out the rest of his salary.
Ooh.
This is on the heels of the Jeffrey Toobin situation, you know, the CNN lawyer who got caught red-handed mixing business with pleasure on a Zoom call. And then there was not one but two producers at the network who left after being tied to alleged sex crimes with kids. All this while Don Lemon's fighting a lawsuit where he's accused of shoving his hands down a man's pants. And it's not just CNN. MSNBC's dealing with its own problems. The network's most popular personality, Rachel Maddow, announced this week she was going to take a break from her nightly show. This after primetime smoked her in the ratings. Not a coincidence. She said she'd be back in April, but left the door open for another hiatus. Is Maddow finally seeing the writing on the wall? It's over at MSNBC. After the Russia hoax, MSNBC was toast, and Rachel knows that. And while Maddow is stepping aside, Whoopi Goldberg was suspended from The View for these comments.
The Holocaust isn't about race. No, it's not about race. No, it's about
a different race.
But it's not about race. It's not about race.
What is it about?
Because it's about man's inhumanity to man. That's what it's about.
But it's about white supremacy. It's about
but
going after
it's
Jews
not about
and
race.
gypsies
But these are two white groups of people.
Maybe Whoopi was taught the critical race theory of the Holocaust. But can we really expect The View to know about Nazis when they thought people who wore red hats in America were Nazis? Of course not. Now, if I said what Whoopi said, this would not be my world anymore. Let's just put it that way. But the left circled the wagons around Goldberg. Check out disgraced former Senator Al Franken on CNN earlier.
I know Whoopi. She's not anti-Semitic. She chose Goldberg for her last name for a stage name.
Way to go, Al. Double down on the anti-Semitism with more anti-Semitism. And he wasn't even the first to rush to Whoopi's defense. Watch.
This is something that is just going to start getting ridiculous. I mean, if Whoopi Goldberg is canceled, that would be the end of this all. This cancel culture is getting so out of hand.
Literally just days before MSNBC tried to get Spotify to cancel Joe Rogan for saying something not offensive at all.
This is so stupid. It's so stupid.
It is getting a reaction, and they're trying to deal with it. But they're trying to deal with a situation that they made a decision purely based on money.
Yeah,
and now they're paying for it.
And Spotify said it was a total cop-out. Just label the garbage discussions.
All right, enough of that. You kind of catch what's going on. If you want to see this clip, it's in the description box below. There's the key words, America's Great Awakening. He talks on and on and on, showing more of this playing out before our eyes, this awakening, and he lumped a lot of characters together in that one.
Some time now that Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada to our north, is actually the son of a famous dictator, and frankly it appears to be true. Is that famous dictator A, Colonel Muammar Gaddafi of Libya, B, Fidel Castro of Cuba, or C, Chairman Mao of China? Lawrence Jones.
Let's go with A.
A. Hey, by the way, I think that's a better guess. I'm not sure it's correct, but we'll find out. Roll tape.
That's Margaret Trudeau, and I can't figure out if she's smiling more at her child or
I was going to say
Well, I think that the chemistry between both Trudeaus with Fidel was very, very good. And in the first book, which I remember reading, she said that Fidel was the sexiest man she'd ever met, and she spent the whole time flirting with him.
A thought she absolutely repeated when asked.
Oh, what a charmer. And you know why he's in power.
Did Margaret Trudeau bear the love child of Fidel Castro, and does he now run Canada? And of course the answer is for sure.
Whoa.
Yeah,
I knew it was Castro.
But why am I at zero?
You'll see other things that are very shady. Right? From Thomas Renz, the attorney, 300% spike in miscarriage diagnosis. 300% increase in cancer diagnosis in the first 11 months of 2021. 1,000% increase in neurological issues. This is military, folks. Myocarditis, 269% increase. Bell's palsy, 291% increase. Female infertility's 471% increase. Our soldiers are being experimented on, injured, and sometimes possibly killed. This is all playing out right in front of us. Even if you look at the sports side. Mail Online, Greek footballer aged just 21 dies after suffering a cardiac arrest on the pitch. 21. Another one. Down. How are they going to try to cover all this up? Well, the media's already working on their little talking points. Look at this one. Energy bill price rise may cause heart attacks and strokes. says the TV GP. So you get that energy bill, your heart's not feeling good, and you have a heart attack. Yeah, because that energy bill is just a little high. It had nothing to do with getting triple jabbed. Oh no. So they're just going to keep telling the sheep that, and what are the sheep going to do? They're going to go to the restaurants. They're going to be wearing their mask while standing outside and waiting for their meals, even though they don't have to wear their mask standing outside. Then you'll go in and walk through the COVID-infected air, sit down, take off your mask to eat, have a conversation, and say, "Did you hear about so-and-so had a heart attack? Yeah, it must be the energy bill he got the other day." Not joking around is holding the line. Taking things that are what we perceive as just evil folks, evil leaders, and you've pulled them in such a way to a point where we're on our knees begging for help. And in the midst of all of this, we've caught ourselves realizing that you're using us to reach those who are lost, those who are hurting, who need to hear the gospel and need prayer, who want to know what or who to turn to in these desperate times. And we know that you are the one that says, "Come to me, all of you who are heavy laden and are heavy with burdens, and I will give you rest." We know you are the giver of rest of our souls, and you promise that when we come to you. We ask for continued protection over our lives, over our minds, over the very thoughts and processes that we go through each day. Please guide us and direct us. May we celebrate when the words that come out of our mouth are not ours, but are directed by the Holy Spirit, because we know how wonderful it is when we are vessels used by you to help bring comfort and rest to the hurting. Help us, Lord. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Folks, thank you for sticking around. Thank you for waiting patiently for our new website to be up and running. Hope you like it. A lot of love went into that. Barry, thank you so much for that. Thank you for the Patriot pins that you put out. You're amazing. We thank you guys for your continued support of this and our family and so much more. For now, this is LT with Them We Know, signing out.
Come, behold the works of the Lord. What desolations he hath made in the earth! He maketh wars to cease unto the end of the earth. He breaketh the bow and cutteth the spear in sunder. He burneth the chariot in the fire. Be still, and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the heathen. I will be exalted in the earth.
Never ever quit. Never, ever.
Does that mean we open now? We open now just for one lane. To show faith that we are opening it. They meet at 2 o'clock. If they meet our request and drop their mandates, it's open.
And if they don't,
we shut it down again.